Hello everyone. Today's talk is titled The Legend of the Empty. So what the legend of the empty suggests is that there are certain human beings who have done great feats in their selfless action. And I am not directly talking about the Mother Teresa figures or the Swami figures, but I'm talking about those human beings who understood the value of the whole, in which their individuation became the greatest contribution to man's plane of existence. We are present here, and so it is our observation that takes us forward and allows us to dissolve into new conception. Now, we may think that right now man is present. His world is filled. It's full of forms, and regardless of how much we choose to fill up our story and think we're somebody, at the end of our physicality, we will see that we have to let go of everything. So one of the most important understandings for whatever age being you are, the minute you can become self-aware to the statement that I'm saying, observe the beauty of how things come to you and things leave. They are never yours. Nothing is never yours in the sense that you own it as an idea. You are present among life and you are alive. And so it is your vision that shows you how much of an integrative world is present. If you choose to be an object, objectivity will speak. Like a rock falling to the depths of an ocean. It will remain where it is once it reaches the end. So what is very important is that what is legendary is that which has gone beyond what could be considered as something, perhaps let us say a contribution that is mighty. It's similar to that sense of movement where reality in its stillness has nothing to say. Your most important contribution in reality is your authentic action. And so you must see that the quality of your communication is very important, because the quality of communication is suggesting your vision. How a person communicates tells me exactly how much they see, because if they were mindful, they would be aware of their communication. So if you see someone, for example, being very cruel, you see that it's as if they are not mindful of the sensitivity that is this life and how in an instant our lives can be taken away. We must realize that because we're fragile, we must not hurt. We must not try to think we lack to then take. These attitudes are unhealthy in the sense that they don't cultivate a virtuous body, in the sense that you're not creating a conscious vehicle, in the sense that your life progression is all leading to somewhere greater. So what that means is some people segment their life and wonder why they're missing parts when they choose not to direct it experientially and very directly, let's say again. Clarity is its own voice, and you are simply a presence here. You must realize you must be tolerant to ideology to then transcend it. If you want to get rid of the mask that you think you have, you will not understand why you had it on in the first place. And that is what many spiritual seekers find, in the sense that they take themselves to the dissolution where there was never any meaning in the story of life, but simply its presence was its great gift. In the sense that the world you see in front of you is not valued based on what you can see. It's valued based on its infinite presence. Because existence, it seems, infinitely exists. You will find yourself certain times in life realizing that there's great flows. It's as if you will feel like something big is happening. When something big is happening, that means your excitement is communicating to you. And so it's very important to realize you are here to give yourself existential allowance and also every other being who could be just like you. It's very important for you to see your similarity in your fellow human being, because if you keep making differences that is only real to you and the other person makes differences that is real to them, this fight will go on and we're never fighting in the same battlefield. So in other words, there's confusion, and that's wrong. A war based on confusion is simply, it has no other place than chaos. And so the confrontation of chaos is one that even true chaos is the being that in an instant brings order, actually. The chaotic ability of that being to be peace in a world of hate is a very chaotic ability. But it's a beautiful one. It's the one that suggests that your being is your presence. The fact that you are here is beyond what anyone else can say. You know, when we consider ourselves too much as individuals, we are trapped into what we are told that we are. Because individuality can be much controlled. It is only collective knowing is untouched. They can't touch it. Nobody can touch it, actually. You can't even touch it. But it's there. In the same way that how I'm standing here, there's a world, there's a planet, there's a cosmos, and regardless, we're all the most directest presence of everything. If we value our communication, we will become suddenly sensitive to how thought is present. We will see based on that we may extend into a multidimensional nature or completely cut the noise. And so it's up to you to choose where you are being led by the sense of intuition. Your intuition is a flow in life. And so this flow in life is kind of like, how would I say it? It's like you know what to do, you're already moving, but a part of you is like, oh my God, do I know what I'm doing? But you do know what you're doing, do you know? It's just that another greater aspect of you, which has trust in life, has continued. In other words, the emanation has become an emanation simply because it remembers the spark. And so when one is found present in that way, consciousness is undefined. And so even the simplest things are giving you the most complex messages. Realize that you must move and you are the one who's working with your abstract. So what that means is you can call it imagination based on how society and culture has been acknowledging the unknown aspects of man's mind, you know. But I would tell you, instead of having others define it, you define it for a second. Just go in your own view, you know. Have that same enthusiasm you had as a kid when you were picking up rocks. Have that same gaze as you had when you were there as an honest man. Remember yourself and do not forget that your attention and your focus into who you are and who you are to be is what is giving you shape. So see what is valuable for you in life and observe it clearly. And if it is image, if it is in a condition, dissolve the condition. See what is happiness beyond what you have right now. And that is when your mind begins being challenged in ways it has not before. It's just stepping into the uncharted territories of novelty. But once you climb the mountains of your own understanding, you begin to see that your wisdom is in your presence. So you're like, wait a minute, oh my God, I'm not just Bob. My presence right now is present in a way where the idea of Bob and every form that Bob has known can be observed in a moment. That is profound. That is even more profound than, let's say, a nuclear reaction, you know. You see that our understanding can change and break all our elusive structures in an instant. And you want to know how you're becoming clear? You want to know how you are, in a sense, becoming more self-aware as a being? You want to know how the advanced communicator is, in a sense, being found? In his deeds, in his actions.
So back in the day, nights were just like, they would come in life and they're like, gosh, there's nothing to do here. Let me just go do chivalrous things, right? That's what knights were, noble things, right? So right now, everyone's forgotten about that. And everyone's going their own path and everyone's driving their own car and trying to figure out what they are, who they are, and whatnot. But when you look at the reality and the nature of how image is kept for you, your considerations melt in your greater observance. You are not kept in frames. So it is very important to kind of suggest that, hey man, it's your vision that has the possibility to be infinite. But if you do not choose to see the possibility, then it's as if you are choosing to only activate only a certain amount of understanding of yourself. It's as if you're not comfortable confronting deeper material, and so you're just like that person who passed that door which they felt they should have opened. And that door is in actuality where your trust will lead you. Because you must have trust in life. There are two ways you can live in this life. One, you don't trust it. One, you do. And I recommend trust life. Because if you don't, you're pushing yourself, both your psychology and how you're associating yourself as an identity, into a platform where imagery is being received by you in a way where it's fueling an objective certainty. So you're choosing to be in a world where you're an object, and the more objective you are, similar to how the more still you are, the more pressure you feel, rather than in a sense how, as Bruce Lee says, be water, my friend, rather than flowing more gently, in that sense. So it is up to you guys. This is reality. This is your playground. Was never something that you stopped attending when you were young. Your playground is right now. You must play because you must engage. And because you're here to engage, you must constantly observe. And so the concept of mindfulness should be treasured. Meditation is not an act. It is that which makes you aware of the actor. It is that which is showing you where the essence and the origin of all awareness is. And so that is your profound steps. You must take it, and you must realize, guys, in our current generation, something I've seen that has deteriorated in its pilgrimage to the West is that certain ideologies in Eastern traditions, the way it's as if divinity is being ignored because people don't like the concept of a God. Divinity means how you are living with all life. Your morning coffee can feel divine to you if you're aware of it, if you're present that everything is present as you're existing. And so as you take a sip of that coffee, you will perceive that same sip going down your throat will be just like many waterfalls that are going on. Do you know it? It's as if your mind is integrative. It is fractal in nature. So the illusion needs to simply let go of itself to then see that it was always beyond. It was the greater flow of a collective knowing rather than an individuality who thought that it was lost. You're not lost. It's just like you're not playing in the sense authentically. It is because you have chosen to live in a world where you are seeing too much. What that means is if suddenly a very huge event happens, or let's say an apocalypse happens, or let's say something very hectic happens, you as a being have an ability within awareness to your state of being to, in a sense, take your immediate sense of presence on a subtler plane where you're not affected by the pain, by the external fluctuation. It's as if how I have an external view, I'm observing, let's say, that ping pong table in front of me right now. As I'm observing that ping pong table, there's a direct experience here. Now, my awareness to this has created instantly an ability for me to perceive new things. Just as how I'm speaking, these ideas and projections are present, but they are not me. And so any association will feel dull to the being that it knows that its experience is omniscient, is omnipresent. When you know your experiences is beyond your ideology and beyond your individuality, in the sense framed by your ideology that does not want to change, you begin to see that the world is as it is because you are as you are. And the minute you change, the flows of reality change. And it's a very crazy change. It's one of those changes where you need to be a maverick a bit. You need to go explore your states of being. You know, we are the new generation. It's as if, regardless of how much people have told us, hey guys, be careful what you do. Hey guys, do this. Hey guys, do this. We are the new eyes of this generation. If you are alive right now and you're hearing this talk, your perception is novel. It is new. And so, if you are completely aware, if you immediately cleanse all your reality with the honesty of seeing that all your personalities are coming from turbulence that is unnecessary, you will become a moment of awareness that is selfless. And there's a profound absence, which is the ability for you to be fulfilled in infinite ways. You must take yourself to new elevations. You must enhance your understanding. I would like to share a quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. And so this quote comes from a very realized being, because it is a very profound truth that it's kind of being communicated, a truth that's transparent. And he says, a mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. And guys, that is very profound, because it is very true. And you will see that direct experience will give you senses of knowing that is beyond the person who is even trained in an education without, that is blind. So what I mean by that is that you see that, for example, what the maturity of the, let's say, Japanese ceramic master who's been doing his craft says is that his knowing is certain based on the application and what needs to be done. And so if there was a novice trying it out, and if the novice thought he knew, he would see that he would be in his own game, because he had not understood what true ability is. And it comes from a selfless place, in the sense that you see the ability is natural ability. Perhaps the ideology of Superman limited man's vision by saying that it's as if one man is very super. But it seems to me all men are, because consciousness is beyond any imagery that tries to convince itself that it's everything. You will see the depth of life is how you observe the same things you've been observing every day in ways that are so new that worlds are opening up. So you look at the clouds and you see a face, and that face belongs to a world of its own. For your conception is the opening and allowance for abstraction to shower new possibility. In the remembrance that is now, all is free. And remember the legend of vanity. Much blessings and namaste.